Hello everyone, today I'm going to be checking out Beijing Restaurant, which is a Korean Chinese restaurant. One of my foodie friends that lives in the Bay Area recommended that I try out this restaurant since her whole family loves going there. The owner is ethnic Chinese and he grew up in Korea, so basically all the food is Chinese food with a Korean twist. People really love their signature black bean noodles that are made with their homemade noodles, as well as their Beijing-style sweet and sour pork, which is a lot different than your typical sweet and sour pork. So let's check them out. I'm pretty curious about it. I just made it here to Beijing Restaurant and I placed my order and all the food came out here in under 5 minutes, so I'm so impressed with all their service. I'm gonna start off with the beef noodle soup while this is still piping hot, and of course I gotta start off with the broth. I love it. It is a very simple, clear, light, and meaty broth. You really get a rich flavor of the beef in there, as well as the bok choy that they top it off with, and it's just got such a rich, meaty, umami flavor. Now I need to go for their noodles, which are homemade, and these look incredible. It looks like they use a ton of egg yolk in these noodles because they're so perfectly yellow, and they have such a delicate and bouncy texture. Oh, these noodles are the perfect texture. I can really tell that they're homemade because of how smooth and delicate they are. They're a little bit on the soft side, but they also have a really nice bouncy chewiness all at the same time. They're really fun and easy to eat, and I love the eggy flavor because I do taste all the egg that they use in their noodles. And of course, I gotta try out their beef as well. I love the beef in the soup as well. I can tell that they tenderize it with cornstarch, so it's really nice and delicate and tender, and it's also a decently fatty cut of beef as well, which goes really nice with this broth. The next dish that I'm going to be trying out are the black bean noodles, which I'm really looking forward to, but first I'm going to have to stir this one up. Alright, let's just get a bite of these noodles. This looks amazing, and I just smell all the rich black bean scent already. I really love the texture of the noodles in this dish because they top them off with this sauce so it's not already mixed in, which really helps the noodles maintain their perfect chewiness just after being cooked. And the sauce itself is so rich and flavorful. I really love that fermented black bean flavor, and it tastes really earthy and just umami rich. But I think the key thing is they don't go crazy with the intensity of the black beans, so you can still taste all the other flavors in here like the noodles, as well as all the large slices of onions they add in here as well. I can definitely see why they're known for the black bean noodles. You can't miss out on this. Let's also get a taste of our tea. Perfectly hot, and it's just a light jasmine tea, and they do a great job because it's not overbrewed, and it's just very light and aromatic just to wash down all the food. The next dish I'm going to be trying out is another one of their signature items. This is the Beijing-style sweet and sour pork, and I'm really curious about this one because typically I'm not a big fan of the generic red sauce sweet and sour pork, but this one is definitely different since it's Beijing style. This looks pretty nice since it's also deep fried, and it looks like there's still a bit of crisp on there. Wow, this is just a perfect sweet and sour dish. Like I said earlier, I'm pretty picky about my sweet and sour dishes, but everything about this is done perfectly. I love the texture of the sauce. It's really thick and it just coats all of your taste buds, but it's not too overwhelming. It's very lightly sweet and not too sour either. It's just gentle on the tongue. And then the outside of the pork is just deep fried, so it has this really light and airy crispy batter, and the second it touches your tongue, it almost just disintegrates as if it's not even there since it's so light. And the pork is so juicy and just out of this world tender. Even if you had sweet and sour dishes in the past and weren't a big fan of it, you should definitely give this one a try because I do think you'll like it. Now I'm going to be going for their dry sautéed string beans, and if you've seen enough of my videos, anytime I go to a Chinese restaurant, I always order the dry sautéed string beans. Wow, I think they do a perfect job with their dry sautéed string beans here, and I think it's safe to say that I'm a connoisseur of dry sautéed string beans at Chinese restaurants. I really love how they put it in a nice hot wok, so you can really tell that each bean is blistered perfectly all the way around. And the other key to this dish is they use a ton of dark soy sauce, which really gets that dark and rich soy flavor that really enhances the flavor of this dish. And then they also put a healthy amount of chilies in here, so you definitely gotta watch out. I would say it's definitely a medium level of spiciness, and I already feel my whole face warming up a bit, but this is perfect. Now I'm going to be going for their eggplant and garlic sauce, and I also love eggplant whenever I go to a Chinese restaurant, and this looks amazing because it's just brimming with dried chilies. Wow, I can definitely see the Korean influence shining in on this dish. It's a lot different than more the Chinese style versions I've had of this garlic sauce and eggplant, because to me, this has a much more mild and not so punch you in the face spicy flavor, even though there's a lot of dried chilies in here. It's more of a much sweeter and gentler garlic flavor with just a hint of heat. And I really love how they cook the eggplant as well, because it's cooked thoroughly through and it's just melt in your mouth, perfectly buttery smooth. For my final dish, I ordered their beef stir-fried with yellow chives and dried bean curd, and I'm really looking forward to this because I love myself some dry tofu. Oh, this is another great dish you can't miss out on. I love how it's just full of succulent pieces of beef. It's perfect. And then I also love those yellow chives. It's got a really gentle flavor, and I feel like it's the star of the show because it really just adds a perfect brightness and crunch. I also really love the flavor of the sauce. It definitely reminds me a bit of the green beans, except it's not spicy. So again, they use the dark soy, and it's just got such a rich and earthy flavor, and it honestly sort of reminds me of sort of the flavoring that a place would typically use for their chow fun. So I think that's kind of interesting. But I think the key is that dried bean curd, because it's just like a sponge since it's dried, so it soaks up all of the sauce and all the flavor, and I feel like it's just tofu condensed down into these nice little dried strips, so there's just so much flavor going on there. Overall, I enjoyed this experience trying Korean Chinese food here at Beijing Restaurant. I really loved their unique take on Chinese food, and I could definitely see how a lot of dishes were Korean inspired. Now for my favorite dishes, you gotta try the black bean noodles. You can't miss out on that. I think the star of the show are those homemade noodles, and I think that is the best dish for them. I also really enjoyed those dry sautéed string beans. If you like spicy foods, this is definitely a dish you're gonna like because it's definitely got a bit of a kick to it, but it's not too overwhelming since you can still taste all the other flavors. And I also love those stir-fried bean curds with this beef as well as those yellow chives. I thought it was a really interesting dish, and all those flavors work together really nicely. You should also try out their sweet and sour pork. It's a really unique dish since it's Beijing style. I was really impressed by the amount of sauce that they put on there since it's pretty heavy, but the key is the sauce is very mild and gentle and doesn't overwhelm the flavor of the pork. You should all definitely check out Beijing Restaurant for a unique dining experience. You're really gonna love their wide variety of unique dishes on the menu. Anyways, I really hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure if you did to give a like, and also make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.